I don't think I've ever been sent a video so often in such a short amount of time. Welcome back, troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Well, you guys asked for it, so yep, let's talk about it. On July 30th, a mysterious video just titled Gibson Firebird was uploaded to a guy named BJ's World YouTube channel showing the destruction of so many Firebird X models. Now, in case you're not familiar with what this model is, it was Gibson's big super robot guitar. And yes, I've documented both colors, the terribly named Redolution and the Blue Volution color. This is the guitar that destroyed Henry Juskowicz's whole career. However, is it really the worst Gibson ever made? No, but it is the most hated guitar of all time from Gibson. Now, anybody who tells you these guitars are terrible, they're no good, they've never actually played one or owned one. Their specs are kind of actually interesting. They have a nice sculpted heel joint, so they're super comfortable to play. Spec-wise, they are stock with a flamed maple fretboard. That's right, every single one of the ones that got destroyed had beautiful flamed maple on it, and they had a swamp ash body with a maple neck. Reverb helped distribute this whole story by posting an article on their page, and I couldn't help but kind of cringe at their first few sentences here. The array of electronics required a battery to work and made the guitar more or less useless for most players. What kind of sentence is that, Reverb? It's actually a common misconception that you need to hook up the Firebird X to all this stuff to even make it work. No, all you need is a little compact battery. It fits in the backside. It's actually really easy to pull in and out. That is the bare minimum. The whole guitar will work. It'll tune itself. You can select all the things. It doesn't actually need to be hooked up to the computer or have any of that fancy footwork stuff. And it really only takes about 5 minutes to understand the Firebird X. So I highly suggest checking out one of these other videos in case you haven't seen it. But back to the topic on hand. Just how many Firebird X's were destroyed here? Now, I took the time to pause the video and count all these. There's 50 of them on each side of these rows. So what you're seeing here is 200 Firebird X's about to be destroyed. But wait, there's more. That's just like the initial lineup. Now, you can watch this guy go through and step on the necks. Notice how a lot of these don't actually break at the headstock. That's because maple necks are really beefy and strong. But then you get another shot right here of a completed third row. So that means they were likely counting these for like insurance purposes, or this is a tax write-off. They need to know how many they're destroying. But if we look back here, unfortunately, there's not enough footage for me to count it one by one again, but I think it's reasonable to assume that from here on there's another 50 on each side, so that's 100, 200, 300 right here. And then I counted right here, I got approximately an additional 20 instruments. And then if you remember early here in the beginning of this, there's 2 of them sitting right here. And remember, they're blue, but over here there's an additional 2 red ones. So at bare minimum, from what we can see, there were 324 Firebird X's destroyed this day. I'm not sure if there's any in these cases. If there is, you could probably say there's another about 50. So between 324 and 374 were destroyed. But I find it really strange that they would leave guitars in their cases that are about to be destroyed. They were designed so you could literally throw these things off the roof of a building and they would survive. But what I find kind of cool here is these Firebird X boxes. They're the original ones. Those probably would have been worth some money. So as you can see, the reaction is fairly negative. I'm sure Gibson is going to get a lot of haters on this. There's so many people who could have used these instruments to make music. Somebody who just doesn't have money to buy a really nice guitar, because again, these are fantastic to play once you understand them. But as I kind of hinted to, these were probably some sort of tax write-off as just a loss, so they had to be destroyed. But at the same time, they also probably could have donated them for a even larger tax write-off. Who knows? I'm not going to talk too much about that, but you guys can conspiracize in the comments section. But just to give you guys kind of an idea, I sold a semi-what non-functioning blue Firebird X for a little over $1,000. So I'll play with the 324 semi-what confirmed guitars. $324,000 just destroyed right there. But let's say they were all still functioning. You can get upwards of $2,500 for each of them to the right buyer. So that's $810,000. So that's almost $1 million of destruction here. But man, Gibson, I would have paid you like $500 for each and every single one of these. Now, I'm not rich enough to have bought them all, but I would have bought a huge chunk of them because I've always wanted to rip the electronics out of these and just make it a standard guitar for a video. Again, I'm going to drill this point to home. These feel amazing. I would probably sculpt the body a little bit differently because they kind of have that Fender offset feel to them, and maybe even thin it down. But if you got it dirt cheap, I think it would be worth refining these things because they play phenomenally. So the big question is, why did this happen? Why was this video posted yesterday by this guy named BJ's World? No offense, man, but you don't have very many subscribers. He just came out of nowhere. It's people sharing this video around that got him to this success. So I decided to do a little bit more digging into who this BJ Worlds guy is. So if you look through his other videos here, it looks like he's into things like RC cars, like the super high powerful ones that'll just drive up cliffs. And everything else on his channel is pretty much similarly related to that or about his time at Disney World. But I was reading in the Reverb comments section, and a lot of people were confused. Were these things Chinese ripoffs? Please tell me that. No. Anybody who thinks these are Chinese fakes, they haven't been around Gibsons enough to know. I don't think I have yet to see a single fake Firebird X. And this confirms the rumors. I had heard rumors that any unsold Firebird X that was sent out to a dealer was later recalled, and the unsold ones were still sitting around in the factory. So I think this pretty much proves that point. So why is this video just now surfacing? Why are they now being destroyed in 2019? Well, for me, the answer lies within BJ's other videos. I don't think enough people are seeing this. Here's one called Gibson One Last Lap. Gibson Building Teardown. Tearing Down Gibson. That's not the only Gibson related video on his channel. This guy must be part of the demolition crew. Because if you remember, the Gibson Memphis factory is done. They moved. It's going to be the future home of FedEx Logistics, which makes a lot of sense due to its location. So this guy is just doing his job. But he just happened to document the destruction of this building because they're likely going to build something even greater. Or maybe they're not even knocking down the whole building. They're just kind of redoing it. I'm not sure. But you can go to his channel and check all this stuff out. I mean, it's not too entertaining to watch. If anything, it's kind of sad and depressing knowing what once was here. But there was definitely more than just Firebird X's destroyed this day. I mean, take a look right here as an ES335. Gone. And as you could tell, there was definitely more right there on the chopping block just to be destroyed. Now, were they factory seconds? I don't know, but Gibson must have left them abandoned. Because this is demolition day and this stuff is still sitting around. They moved out most of the equipment, and here you can see him about to smash another guitar. So overall, I don't think there's a lot of mystery here. It's just Gibson washing their hands of the stuff. They left it back to be destroyed, or maybe there was just some sort of deal made. I'm not sure if we'll ever know, but this might be more bad publicity for Gibson. But if we're being honest here, this stuff happens each and every day at every guitar factory. I used to work in the grocery business, and I couldn't tell you how much food I threw away that was just because it was slightly blemished that nobody would want to buy it. The amount of waste in the world is truly sickening if you start to think about it. But the good news is, if you happen to own a Firebird X, your value just skyrocketed because they are now doubly as rare. Because remember, that 324 pretty well confirmed theory right here was how many were destroyed. So how many were made? Well, I don't have the exact answer for you, but what I do have is the serial numbers of the ones I've owned. This is Firebird X 446, so that was the 446th one made. My blue one was 459, and looking through the 33 sold listings on Reverb, the only one that I could find a serial number on is this one at 621, but I know I've seen them at least in the 700 digits, so half of the population was wiped out. And with this video surfacing, you can bet your butt in, 10, 20 years, this will be listed on every single for sale ad. It's one of the survivors. A functioning, surviving Firebird X. Only about 100 left in the world or something like that. So I think these things are going to become rare. I think they're going to become more desirable and more collectible for this. So anybody who talked bad about that guy who traded me a custom shop Gibson guitar for my Firebird X, who's laughing at him now? All right, thank you Troglodytes for watching. I couldn't even go through this whole video. It's pretty hard to listen to with the sound on, but I hope you guys enjoyed the topic anyways. Thank you Troglodytes for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Rest in peace, Firebird X.